I believe that off-the-court habits are way more important than most people think. And I see in my teammates, I see in competitors, and like that's just what separates me in a different way.
Before we get started, if you believe athletes deserve better conversations around growth, resilience, leadership, and what it truly takes to be successful in sports and life, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. Your support helps us continue sharing powerful stories and creating a platform where athletes, coaches, and leaders can be seen, heard, and inspired. Today, we are joined by a unique father-son duo, Keizo Baxter and Sean Baxter. Keizo is an incoming college basketball player whose journey has been defined by perseverance, mindset, and growth through adversity. From battling self-doubt and setbacks to earning his opportunity at the next level, Keizo represents the next generation of athletes learning how to trust their path. Alongside him is his father, Sean Baxter, founder of Misfit Island, a consultancy focused on experience design and our operational alignment for sports organizations. With over 15 years of experience in UX, product strategy, and digital transformation, Sean brings a system level of perspectives to sports, helping organizations create better experiences for both fans and athletes. Together, they bring two powerful perspectives, one from an athlete's living journey and one from the leader shaping the future of sports. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you, Adisyn. Appreciate it.
A little bit of a mouthful, but you guys have done a bunch of cool stuff. So we got to fit it all in there, right?
Exactly.
All right, Keizo, so your journey playing college basketball hasn't been anything but easy.
Yeah.
And Sean, you've had a unique experience watching that both as a father and a coach. Mm-hmm. What has that journey kind of been like for both of you guys?
Yeah.
Whoever.
So, I mean, one of the things that, it's going to be sad to see him go off because this is like my buddy. I've been involved in the trenches with Keizo for a long time, for the ups and downs when he was super passionate about wanting to play to where he had some doubts along the ways. And you're always trying to find this balance of how much do you push and how much do you let them kind of experience it for themselves. Mm-hmm. But for me, it really feels like that roller coaster, the proverbial roller coaster. There were some highs and lows, and it would switch fast, and probably some curves along the way too.
Dodge some few things.
And so, but ultimately, it's I don't know if there's another way to kind of do it. Mm-hmm. You just have to go through it and experience it all, and just trust that in the end, like if he decided not to play, he would have had a great journey. But the fact that he gets to, the journey continues.
Exactly. That's awesome. How about for you, Keizo?
I mean, from my point of view, I had an older brother that originally played, and so I'm a competitor. I always wanted to be the better brother and stuff like that. And so he played. He wasn't very good, I had to teach him some lessons as a kid. But
oh my goodness,
he's gonna beat you up to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So third grade is about when I started. I played rec ball, club ball, all up until about middle school, and then COVID kind of started to go into there, and so I was unsure on what I really wanted to do with my future in my high school, and so I played football.
Cool.
I ran track, and I played basketball, and so I unfortunately wasn't able to play most of my middle school due to some family circumstances, and it was 8th grade. I played my first year of middle school basketball, and season went okay. We went like 2 in whatever how many games we played, and nice. I was like, oh, like we're not a successful program,
right?
And so entering high school, my summer year, entering my senior year, my dad sat me down and was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. And so he's like, do you want to play college basketball? Do you want to have a future in basketball? And I was like, I mean, yeah, let's do it. And so entering high school, I had 4 high schools to choose from. And with my parents being divorced, they lived 30 minutes away from each other. And so those 2 schools within the hometowns were more my choices because I open enrolled into the other schools. And so had some meetings with both varsity coaches, and I liked the one closer to my dad's house. And so that's the journey in basketball, the choice I decided to make. In all of middle school, I went to a charter school, and so my charter school didn't have sports, and so I'd always have to find a different school close by to play sports for. And so talking to both my parents, we couldn't make a decision on what high school I'd go to. One's 5 minutes from one house and one's 30 minutes away from the other house. And so
that's tough.
Yeah, it was definitely a struggle, but we ultimately figured it out, and I just stayed at the charter school for my freshman year and played basketball close to my dad's house. And so that's the school I ultimately will be graduating from, Mountain View.
Nice.
And so that was all a journey in itself, and I believe that, everything happened for a reason, and that's why I am here today. So
Dang, quite the story.
Yeah.
It's really cool how you figured that all out and you went along the path to, make yourself successful. That's great. So what year are you right now?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So have you graduated yet?
My graduation's on Saturday. So.
Saturday?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that's crazy. So you're getting right into it.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So Keizo, you mentioned battling kind of the discouraging and feeling underdeveloped early on. What has kind of helped you push through those moments?
To be honest, it was more my vision that I had for myself. Again, my brother played sports, but that wasn't his passion. My sister never played sports, and so growing up in a family where sports wasn't very pushed, I had to kind of carve it out for myself, and that's what pushed me. I got excited about it. It's something I found passion in, and I'm not the most creative, artistic person, so I was like, that's not for me. And I was like, I have some athletic abilities, and that's what I've been interested in since I was a kid, and so
great.
That's what's driven me today, yeah.
That's awesome. So you said off-court habits have kind of changed your life. How does that kind of look like in your practice?
Okay, yeah. So going into my senior year of season, I started working with a mental coach, and that's changed my life ever since I started working with him. And so, at the beginning, I was like, he's throwing meditation, visualization at me. I'm like, what does that mean?
You're like, well, I have no idea.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Like, that sounds like what they be doing in, like, yoga, and I'm not trying to
Right, you're like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, so he sat me down. We had a good hour-long introduction, and he was just kind of giving me the vision on what he saw we could accomplish. And I believe that off-the-court habits are way more important than most people think. And I see in my teammates, I see in competitors, and like that's just what separates me in a different way. Like I can persevere through a bad play, a bad game, and bad practice, and it all starts with my mornings. So I wake up out of bed. Most high schoolers, check their phone, social media. That's their first go-to, but mine's meditation. And so I wake up, find a comfortable spot in my bed. Preferably not laying down because I'll fall back asleep.
Right, and then you won't go anywhere.
So, the biggest misconception about, I feel, meditation is it's all this spiritual, like connecting your inner source to this out place in the open world. But what meditation means to me is more just calming your mind and connecting your body to your mind, and overall like setting your day right. And so I think peace is obviously important to live a successful life. And so my habits would be meditation, and before games, sitting in a quiet room all to myself and visualizing what I wanted to accomplish in each game. And so I'd set goals for myself each day, each game, each practice, and that would help me reach higher things than I thought I could do. So
definitely, that's very different from, I feel like, a lot of athletes. I feel like they get all rambunctious and they listen to some crazy music and just get so fired up. Yours is more internal.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What does that kind of the meditation look like in the morning? Like, what are you doing to calm your brain and your mind?
In the beginning, it would be like 5-minute sessions. Sometimes your mind just goes off and you're like, okay, I can't focus. So that's it. That's my 1-minute meditation of the day. But the more I worked all summer, it would turn into 20-minute, 30-minute, hour-long sessions where I'm just sitting down, no distractions, not even music playing usually in the background. I'm just sitting down, eyes closed, and ultimately just calming my mind. Your mind wanders even when you're not realizing it. And so the way you just put your focus back onto like your breathing. My mental coach taught me a lot about just your breathing. So counting on your deep breaths and then just hold it at the top and then release. And you do that for 30 minutes. That's all you're thinking about is breath work, and your mind's not wandering onto what you're going to do each day. So
you're definitely going to be taking that with you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's great. Sean, from your background in experience, design, and coaching, how do you view athlete development kind of different than everyone else?
Yeah, for me, I'm a systems design thinker and really going in and looking at the whole journey. So one of the things I really have to understand is, what is your goal? What are you about? Right. There are people who have aspirations to play at the highest levels, and there are some people that are looking for a social club with a little bit of competition. And so once you understand what they're looking for, each individual athlete, then it's easier to kind of shape the experience for them. For some, it's let's do some extra additional work. Let's partner with the right type of people. And for others, you're not trying to and it's really helpful, right? You don't want to put the best player that's really trying to get somewhere with someone that just wants it to be a social experience.
Mediocre. Yeah.
because both of them would be frustrated. No one's going to really sharpen. You can't. Iron doesn't sharpen paper. Paper doesn't sharpen iron. Exactly. Iron sharpens iron, right? So they have to be in the same type of made up of the same type of material. So with that understanding, then it's and with the goal, then it's all the in between. How hard you push them depends on your relationship with them. And what they're looking for. And if you haven't built the relationship, then you're not going to get the results. You're going to just get resistance. You have to build a relationship so that you could actually influence. And so, one of my favorite coaches was Pete Carroll. I just liked his jovial, kind of happy-go-lucky. He was intense, but he was just fun. Yeah. And I'm that kind of coach. And what's interesting is that I played volleyball in high school, and then that was the end of my anything to do with sports. So I don't have a background playing basketball, and I didn't really get involved until someone asked for an assistant coach on his third grade team, and I looked around, nobody was raising a hand. I was just like,
I guess I'll do it.
A lot of parents know what that means to get roped into that, right? But it set me on a 10+ year journey coaching. And the thing was that I had to find along the way was what made me unique. And I'm just like, I'm a relationship guy. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. And I will surround myself with the X's and O's people, but I'm going to set the culture. This is what we're about. This is what we're trying to do. And an interesting thing, even at the high school, was that a lot of, when I took over really quick, when he became a senior, I was thinking, I don't want to coach because I just want to be a parent.
Right, because that's a hard relationship.
Yeah. But then the head coaching opportunity came open on the girls' side. And I said, well, I could do the best of both worlds. I can go watch his game as a parent and then coach. And it worked out really well. Wow. And when I first got there, I couldn't hardly get anyone to really want to be a part of anything we were doing early on. It was really a struggle. It was like I knew there was some things that happened that just kind of brought the whole community of girls down. They didn't really want to be involved, and I had to rebuild that culture. And I went from a year ago, nobody really wanting to help out in things, to the whole team showing up to different events. And so that's the value I feel like I bring.
Yeah.
When it comes to the X's and O's, I got some great coaches. Coach Alex that works with me, and she is a former college player. She gets it. They respond. They love her, and I'm just there to make sure that everyone can get out of this what they're hoping to get out of it.
That's awesome. That's so important. What was one of the biggest things you did to rebuild that culture?
Show up.
There you go. Well, they didn't have that before, it seems like.
Yeah, show up and just selling the vision to the parents to this is what we're trying to do. This is what I want to accomplish. And, he always kind of gets on me. Sometimes I talk a little bit long. I'm a little bit verbose, but
what can you do?
Yeah, what good? I am who I am, right? So, and I would just start selling stories, and I would bring in things like, most women CEOs played sports in high school.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I start sharing those stories, and I give examples, and I just keep saying, I'm about what you're about. If you want to get to just being a great leader, use this as a platform to get there. And so building the relationship, showing up, and just keep sowing this vision of what is possible. It's kind of the approach I take.
That's great. It's the hope and the possibility.
Yes.
Before we move on, let's talk about something every serious athlete needs to pay attention to: your digital footprint. Fan-Day Nation has just released a powerful new tool to help athletes make sure their social media profiles are fully optimized and recruit ready. Today, coaches aren't just evaluating game film, they're evaluating character, leadership, and maturity online. This resource gives you a step-by-step roadmap to clean up your profiles, highlight your strengths, and avoid common mistakes that can cost opportunities. If playing at the next level is your goal, don't leave your online presence to chance. Go check it out now at fandaynation.com.
Both of you have seen kind of different sides of performance, obviously. How important is the focus on the process instead of the results?
For me, I maybe to a fault, I don't focus on the results. this is going to come out. You can go to Max Preps and see our record, right? in the 20-year history of Mountain View, the girls team have only had 5 winning seasons, right? So I'm looking to change that. Yeah. But how I go about that isn't focused on we need more wins. It's I want you to be passionate. I want you to want to be here. That's one. I want you to want to work hard because you see all the benefits of it outside of just basketball. And then from there, it's just about just enjoying all the different parts, being with your teammates, the bus ride, the practice that we're all grinding together, being willing to be like made fun of and be silly. Like I can't do a lot of the things they can do, right? But I try and they laugh and I embarrass myself and I don't care and just go
and
about
I bet they love that.
Yeah, and it seems to be resonating with them.
That's great. How about for you?
I mean, for me, growing up, there'd be a lot of people, again, like what I said, ahead of me, and that was one of my biggest struggles with discouragement. Is seeing all the people who are like similar in age, they're doing all this stuff like traveling AAU and going to all these different states, and that's something I never experienced. I never was able to go and spend all that money to play AAU and travel, and so I always thought, I was like, that's the only way I'm going to get to college is playing AAU. So I was like, it might not happen.
Right.
But then it got to my junior year, and I was like, everything, if I put in the work, I'll see the results. And, I mean, you got guys like coming straight from anywhere, and they just, swoop in, take an offer, and I'm like, I can't.
Like, how are you doing that?
I'm like, what about me? Like,
I know, it's hard to be seen.
Yeah, so I'm putting in the work, and I'm just like, I don't see any results. But I trusted the plan, and end of my senior year, I still didn't really hear back from any coaches, and I was like, that was my last year. Like that was my final high school game. We lost in playoffs, and I was like, what's next? So that was my biggest drive to continue working, and then conversations started up. That's what excited me. I was like, okay, like this is what I've been working for, and I couldn't get caught into I'm not D1, I'm not a top 5-star prospect. Like obviously we know that, and so and then I started getting in conversations and talking to coaches, went on some visits, and I was beyond blessed to be in there. So
do you know where you're going to school?
Yeah, I'm committed. I just signed yesterday, College of Idaho.
Yay!
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Yeah. How excited are you to play there?
I'm very excited. And I went on my visit. I'm a big person on community, and so I walked in and everyone's there greeting me. I met the team, and it just felt like home. So
that's awesome.
Called some other coaches, let them know, I'm no longer interested, and made my decision. So
what made it so special?
I mean, anything from, we started our relationship with that coach. I reached out to him, didn't hear anything back, and then one random morning I woke up and checked my phone, and I was like, oh, he replied on email, and I was like, all right, like let's set up a call. So then we called 8 o'clock at night. He didn't call me, and I was like, uh-oh.
Oh no, he forgot.
I might have burned that bridge. He called me, he apologized, and I was like, oh, okay, he's still interested.
Yeah.
So we started building our relationship, I think about December, and then we had a final call with me and my dad, and he offered me a spot. We were actually on vacation in California, and he called, and he was like, I have a spot for you, and I was like, oh, really? Like,
wow. What a great day that was.
That's the best news I've ever heard. We were at the beach all day, and then I got an offer, so I was happy. And so we set up a visit. We came back about 2 weeks ago, and that's when I made my decision. So,
and now there you are.
Yeah.
Well, that's super exciting. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did that whole recruitment process kind of go for you? What did you do different to, get yourself seen by these people?
I mean, everyone has their own journey, I believe, either playing AAU, going to showcases. And I tried a couple showcases, but nothing really sparked out of that. And so that's why I was just like, all right, I'm gonna put the attention. I'm gonna do something different than most people do. So all summer I didn't go play club basketball. I just got into the gym, started a routine between waking up early and just getting some shots in, and then going in with a small group of people who had the same goals as me, and just training all summer. And then I think that ultimately put me in the best position for my senior year, being our starting point guard, and helping our team go to playoffs, doing those different things, and working on being the quiet leader. I'm not the loudest person, but if issues came with the team, I'd be able to step up and guide them. And we also just got a brand new coach for my senior year, and so that was obviously a change for everyone. So being the person that felt like they had control over the controllables. Right. So their attitude every day, showing up to practice, being the early one, first one, last one out the gym and stuff like that. Be the role model for my teammates, especially the younger people in the program, and then ultimately just doing different stuff than people are doing. So yeah.
For sure. Well said. Sean, we've kind of talked about the youth pipeline, NIL, and fan experience. How do these issues impact athletes like Keizo?
Yeah, it's really that system again. More money is going into sports. The commercialization of youth sports is just
insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Exactly, and it's not going away. I don't think it's. There may be some regulations that try to pop in, but this is where things are. It used to be, and I mean, my thought always for any one of my kids that were looking at sports was like, great, this is how you pay for college. I'm big into academics and education, and I'm like, you need a way to pay for it. This seems like a pathway. With that, not everyone is interested in that. You know, some people are chasing like these big paychecks from Nike, or well, I didn't mean to drop a brand in there, but any brand,
any big athletic brand,
any big brand, right? They want that paycheck, and then they have to deal with, oh, I made all of this money at some point, and now I have to go get a job that's a quarter or less of what I was just made in a short amount of time. And so there are more interruptions into the pathway of someone just going in, playing college, going out, feeling ready for the world, and taking it on. There's all of these different hands in the pot, so to speak. And so the way I really see it is that helping calm all of those different ideas in the mind of a young person and just giving them a solid, like, you can use this platform to get to this next step. This next step will lead to this next step. And there will be a lot of noise, but if you quiet the noise, you can get into a nice little pathway that'll take you to some pretty incredible places. And I don't want to say I'm battling corporations, but I'm at least battling the concepts that they're trying to promote and almost use.
Like normalize.
Normalize, yeah. It's like, look, we talk about this all the time. Let's reach out. You know, I've encouraged him to reach out to different brands and say, look, I'm an athlete going to college, and I use your products.
Right.
Like I want to represent you. Yeah. But he hasn't made his whole world about that. It's like, I want to play in college is kind of the communication that I've gotten from him. This is just a nice thing to put alongside it, not as my whole world is about this brand and making money, and forget education, forget competing. I just want the money. And so I feel like in our conversations, he's helped give me perspective from a young person, and I've helped give him perspective from just kind of this outside looking in. And I think ultimately let's lean into the brands that will hopefully will want to work with him, but he's about this, and it's how they want to partner with the journey and the trajectory that he's chosen for himself.
Big time. How do you kind of see that working into your playing career?
I mean, yeah, I didn't really know much about NIL until I started researching and stuff like that. I'm big on like fashion and stuff like that. Like I like, pictures. I'm a model too.
Nice.
And so I like the big the name brands and stuff like that. And so part of it was just reaching out to some people on social media like Instagram, easy DM to some companies, and I've gotten some like ambassador deals with them, and that's a start. And so I always think like it might start small, but then it could blow up to something big. And so going into Idaho, I definitely want to connect with like local brands there, like small ice cream shops and stuff like that, and just like little NIL stuff where I could post on my Instagram, some content, go check them out, and then we could start building a relationship through there. And so, and then we've ended up building a website to kind of like feature some different package deals that I email to brands and hopefully get in contact with some local Colorado brands, so banks, clothing brands, hydration drinks, stuff like that. And so that's been a big push since I've been able to settle down on the recruitment.
Now, he has the benefit of someone who was, 15 years as a filmmaker, also worked for a lot of different brand agencies and stuff like that. So it's definitely, leaning on this kind of like, what can we do with it? But I mean, that's not, the common thing for everybody, which is why when I talked to Mike and he was telling me about what y'all were doing, I'm like, yeah, this is what's needed because
making sense.
I'm not doing this for anybody else.
Right. Like, not everyone can have 15 years in the film industry, like, and stuff like that. That's crazy. How are these brands kind of helping you incorporate, like, yourself into, like, your brand image?
I would say, being able to reflect, like, what I stand on. So, the habits, off-the-court habits and off-the-court comfortability. And so I target, like, hydration brands, like, like the powders you put into drinks and stuff like that. Like, your habits of eating the right things, drinking, hydration, stuff like that, working out and stuff like that. I feel like all the stuff that, isn't shown on the huddle cameras and the film you send to coaches, all that stuff will ultimately build you up. And coaches see that, like, coaches don't just see what's on the court and just offer. They see like what kind of person you are and what kind of goals you have for yourself, for the team, and stuff like that, and what your goals are for yourself. And so that's something if they can plug into a program, then they can. And that, I feel like that's the same for kind of brand deals. If they see you can represent them in a positive way based on who you are, what you like to do on your free time, your lifestyle. Then that's the brands I try to target and stuff like that. Yeah.
We're proud to celebrate women who lead on and off the court. Nico Stones welcomes new brand ambassador Sophie Zadell, a standout basketball player at the University of Colorado. Her exclusive edits is all about confidence, strength, and the style that moves with you. Support women in sports and shop Sophie's limited collection now at nicostones.com. Well, that goes into my next question. What advice do you have for any young athletes watching right now that, want to get into the recruitment process and want to play at that next level?
I mean, I'd definitely say it's a journey, don't get discouraged. Coaches are busy, just like we're busy, If they don't write back for a month, you got to send up a follow email. And one of the biggest things that, in my talking to coaches is they have a website, and if you just go to the coaches tab, you find their number, you just call them. And it's as simple as that. Like, I've probably called 50 coaches in like the span of a week, and probably, let's say 7 answered. That's 7 more than the guy next to me. So if you just, reach out there, it's kind of uncomfortable at the beginning. You're like, hey, coach, like.
Yeah, right? You got to get people
I don't know what to say, but,
yeah.
You just got to be yourself behind the phone, and they're going to see the mask if you're putting on a mask when you meet with them in person, and you have to be yourself everywhere you go. And so I think the important is building relationships with people, that can connect you to bigger things, and it's all a journey, it's all a start, and that will get you places. So yeah.
That's good advice. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, and I think he really said it. I'm not really trying to put down this generation. Obviously, I'm older, but it's easy to hide behind just the DM and like, that's it. I'm not going to do it. And I wasn't even the one to tell him, you should call the coach. He did that on his own. Like, I'm just going to call him. I was like, okay.
All right, get it.
And I was standing by listening to one of the things like, please don't mess it up. Please don't mess it up. Right. And I was listening to how he articulated himself. And I'm like, okay, he's got it. Like, he'll be all right. So I think people like to relate with people, and they like you to be, authentic and unique, but honest and just real. And when you find the right match, not everyone's going to be a right match, just like when you go out dating. Your first date is not your marriage partner for like kind of thing, right? You just meet and you just kind of feel where the right chemistry is. And that's the same thing with recruiting. You might be a fantastic player, but there's just programs that don't make sense for you. And from the coach's perspective, you don't make sense for them. And just trust that if you believe in yourself and you're good enough and you just keep at it, you'll find the right connection.
Big time. Well, when you guys look at this journey from a father and son perspective, what does success look like for you in the end?
My part's done. Like I said, I heard how he was on the phone. I'm like, he'll be okay. The journey isn't over, right? I mean, I remember when I was his age and the amount of mistakes I made from that age to now it's a lot. There's still more.
You do. You're human.
Yeah, but you learn from them, and I think he's in a good place he'll make mistakes. I will be there, a phone call away, a drive away, and we could talk through and get through anything, and then he'll figure it out. And that's the hard part, is just trusting, that he'll figure it out. And I kind of have to, bite my tongue, my finger, or anything else to try to say, I just trust the process. But I look back over his 18 years and I'm like, okay, he's got it. And his
That's great.
Family is, like I said, a phone call away. So I'm not too worried.
Big time. Well, that's awesome. Well, Keizo and Sean, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your journey, your perspective, and the powerful connection between athlete development and leadership. It's rare to hear both sides of that story in one conversation, and we appreciate the impact you're making in the respective spaces. And thank you to everyone watching and listening to Fan Day Nation's podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with an athlete, coach, or parent who needs to hear this conversation. We'll see you next time at fandaynation.com. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Adisyn. Appreciate it.